On April 11th, Islamabad, Pakistan, two things happened on the same day. One was historic, a moment that diplomats have been chasing for 44 years. The other one was quiet, almost invisible, a military move dressed up as a routine announcement. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif sat across from US President J.D. Vance, the highest level direct talks between Washington and Tehran in over 4 decades. Think about the 44 years of silence, of sanctions, of standoffs, and Pakistan, a country with its own mountain of economic problems, somehow got both sides into the same room. Thousands of miles away, Saudi Arabia quietly announced something very different. Pakistani warplanes had landed on Saudi soil. This is not a routine deployment. The world is at a breaking point. A war that nobody fully predicted. A war that started with Iranian strikes on Gulf nations and has since pulled in the United States, rattled oil markets, and put every country in the region on edge. A war that has shaken the global economy, that has brought death to multiple countries, that has now put US warships face to face with Iranian forces in the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz, that narrow channel of water, almost a third of the world's seaborne oil passes through it. Block it and you don't just hurt Iran, you hurt the entire planet. Saudi Arabia was hit by Iranian strikes before the ceasefire. The ceasefire is fragile. It expires in April 22nd. 7 days, that is all that separates this fragile peace from a potential return to full-scale hostilities. 7 days and no deal in sight yet. And right in the middle of all this is Pakistan, a country of to 40 million people, a nuclear-armed state, a nation carrying one of the world's heaviest debt loads, and yet somehow it's the country that both Washington and Tehran agreed to trust as their go-between. On one side, Islamabad is a peacemaker. It hosted Washington and Tehran. It brokered the ceasefire. It's now pushing for another round of talks. Sharif has offered to host again. His officials have been quietly working the phones, calling Tehran, calling Washington, trying to keep the doors open, even after both delegations left Islamabad without a deal. On the other side, Pakistan has a defense pact with Saudi Arabia, a pact that says an attack on Saudi Arabia is an attack on Pakistan. This pact was signed just September last year in a palace in Riyadh, with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on one side and Prime Minister Sharif on the other. Pakistan's army chief was also in the room. This wasn't a quiet agreement, it was a statement. Pakistan's own deputy prime minister told Iran directly, "We have this agreement, the whole world knows about it. So ask yourself, how do you make peace between two sides when you're already committed to defending one of them?" Pakistan's military history in the Arab world runs deep. Pakistan's pilots flew in the Arab-Israeli War of 1967. Pakistani troops guarded Saudi oil field in the 1970s. Saudi Arabia has relied on Pakistan's military for 6 decades. Pakistan has trained thousands of Saudi military personnel since 1967. A formal agreement in 1982 put Pakistani armed forces inside Saudi Arabia permanently for training. The eastern province where those troops were sent is the same province where today's jets are now based. History is not repeating, it is escalating. But this is different. This is the first pact ever that formally commits both nations to go to war for it. Before the SMDA, Pakistan's presence in Saudi Arabia was advisory, supportive, it could be explained away. Now it cannot. The commitment is written, it is signed, and it is being activated in real time. And now there's a Pakistani fighter jet and possibly Pakistani pilots sitting inside Saudi Arabia's most vulnerable province, right where Iran has been striking. Analysts say Pakistan is threading a needle. Pakistan has no US bases on its soil. It has no ties with Israel. That gives it credibility with Tehran for now. Experts say the military deployment is deliberate ambiguity. Iran doesn't know exactly when it will also be fighting Pakistan. That uncertainty in itself is deterrent. But former Pakistan general plainly put it, the moment the theater shifts to offensive operations, the dual role collapses. Pakistan is betting that the talks continue because if they don't, everything changes. Right now, a US naval blockade of Iranian ports is in effect. Iran calls it piracy. The ceasefire expires in days. The next round of talks has not been confirmed. Pakistan's prime minister is expected to fly to Saudi Arabia, then Turkey, a final diplomatic sprint before the clock runs out. Pakistan has walked tight ropes before, but this one is stretched over a war zone. Will Pakistan hold the line or be pulled into the fire? On one side, a ceasefire with 7 days left. On the other, jets on a Saudi runway, and in the middle, a Pakistani prime minister flying between capitals trying to hold a peace that nobody has fully committed to keeping. Follow The Voice for All for every development, subscribe and turn on your notifications because this story moves fast.